once and release, and then you're on. So I wrote you back.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, and I have a draft
About
of
the time?
the email because.
Oh, you've got several servings, right? Well, if it has to be after lunch, that's
good to know too.
close. Sorry? I saw her just walk across, so maybe she's gathering her stuff together. Well, it's officially 4:30. Do we want to start that meeting? Right. Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, City of Urbana Arts and Culture Commission meeting. That for the people who are calling in, perhaps? Yeah. We will be having a few presenters of the grant awards calling in on the phone. That's probably what's going on because they're trying to hook up. So the first item on our agenda this afternoon is the call to order and the roll call.
I just wanted to quickly say that if anyone on the phone can mute themselves until it's time for them to present, that would be very helpful for the sound.
Good idea.
Okay. Sarah Buckman.
Here.
Barbara Headland.
Present.
Lori Fuller.
Present.
And I wanted to introduce our two newest commissioners, Xander Hazel.
Here.
And Abby Harris.
Here.
Thank you for joining us. And I also just wanted to do a brief intro for our two new commissioners. Xander Hazel is a strategic content specialist at Prairie Research Institute at the University of Illinois and has been a Champaign County resident for 9.5 years. And we're super excited for you to join. And we can get to know each other a little bit more later on. And Abby is a K-5 music educator and U4 district music coordinator who's been in Champaign County for 17 years. Super excited to have you on the commission.
We have listed on the agenda today the approval of minutes from the previous meetings, but that's going to be tabled until the next meeting. So we'll move on to the additions. Any additions to the agenda today?
We have Ru Huang who will be presenting, and that's going to be added after Ralph Lewis. And then we will also be voting on meeting time for the second Tuesday at 4:30 to continue for 2024.
Great, thank you so much. Do we have any public input to share today?
No public input.
Thank you. Well, we've gotten to the important part, the presentations. We have some wonderful guests here today in the auditorium. We have grant presentation. Now, I see one of the candidates, one of the presenters is not here yet. So shall we move on? Or is someone here representing Ralph Lewis and All Scores Urbana?
Oh, it's me.
Oh, he's
I'm
on
here.
the phone. Okay. That's why I don't see you. Well,
I'm all
welcome.
around you, everywhere.
We need a little more volume for him, if it's possible. We need a little more volume for Ralph's voice. Dr. Ralph Lewis is going to be presenting his report for All Score Urbana, the 2022 grant.
And I just wanted to add that we will be using a timer this evening for presentations, and we will only have 10 minutes for presentations with minimum time for comments. So we'll probably keep comments to about 2 minutes. So I will have a timer going, and for presenters who are here today in person, I'll be waving a red piece of paper from my seat when you are at 1 minute left. Thanks. Sorry about the rush.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Okay, and just to check in, are my slides up?
We see your cover.
It should be this.
Your front screen.
Oh, great! So you can see the orange with the white text on it.
Correct.
Wonderful. So moving to slide 2. So let me just introduce All Score Urbana to you. I'm so grateful to be talking to you all today. It's been so wonderful to have your support on this program and on past programs. All Score Urbana is a community engagement music composition workshop that I started doing in 2016. And it's built around the idea of creating access, especially to on-site and regional and local performers. So the idea is to focus on the collaborative aspect of things. And so the idea is to focus on welcoming new ideas and people to creating music, support the creative process, even add an extra S in the slide, and build local relationships. And more so, we try to focus on it with this idea of community engagement, specifically the idea of listening to past and present participants rather than telling them what we're going to do. The idea of it being much more of a back and forth and a building of projects. Some highlights throughout the years have included I've served approximately 260 participants since 2016. We've frequently teamed up with the local high school, thanks to Tambra Gingold, and thanks to grants from you. Our approach to music composition has been noted, and we've been able to celebrate the city of Urbana at a number of conferences, especially in the last couple of years, including at Penn State's New Music Symposium, College Music Society's Great Lakes conferences, and at a symposium at University of Maryland, which was a symposium on composition pedagogy. So it's been really great to be able to celebrate the city and what you've been able to support us in doing, and get out there and talk about it in all these places around the country. And participants have gone on to use materials from our programs for job interviews, for graduate school applications, and to apply to music festivals. For this program, our teaching artists for me, that's me on the right over there, that's Ralph Lewis, Briar Darling there on the left playing cello, and Peter Tiarina there on trombone. And throughout this program, the setup was to get back into doing things in person after doing remote programs during the really heavy part of the pandemic. And so throughout this program, we were able to offer this free to the public opportunity in person, but also online modes of participating. And in this case, we served 12 people's creative projects with 7 being performed at our community partner, Rosewell Tavern. We workshopped and coached, and we gave individual lessons with projects between July of this year to the concert on November 4th of this year. We also, thanks to the grant that we received from you, we were able to apply for a small secondary grant from the Society for Electroacoustic Music in the United States for the first ever CREATE grant. And from that, we received these unique Cracklebox instruments you can see in that photo let's see, that's page, it's on the page that says achievements. It's on page 5. So those were used throughout the workshops. Throughout this project, throughout this grant program, we had several community partners. Rosewell Tavern wrote a letter of support and hosted the final concert. Faith United Methodist Church wrote a letter of support when we were originally going to work with them. Urbana Champaign Independent Media Center hosted us when we needed that for our workshop spaces. and that was wonderful. And of course, like I said earlier, Seamus, the Society for Electroacoustic Music in the United States, provided us with this grant that provided these unique instruments that we'll continue to use beyond this particular grant program. And part of what impressed them is that we had gotten the grant from you all already. So I just want to make sure that that's appreciated. On page 7, a really wonderful thing that we've been discovering through doing these recurring workshop series is that oftentimes people are already creating. They're already making music. They're making something, but something might be in the way. Finding a collaborator, chronic illness, some kind of life event stopping things, and being there for people to take the next step in their journey, as much as maybe trying composition for the first time, has increasingly been part of what we do. We found a lot of people were restarting and retrofitting works to fit our collaborators. Who, to be clear, the cellist and the trombonist and I were on site. So this isn't a you go secretly write and you hope that you can find a player. The player is there already, coaching you, working with you, listening to you, giving you cool feedback in time. And so we worked on continuing to be flexible on these things. A really wonderful example of this was we originally had Saori Katoka, the trumpet player, with us as a teaching artist, but she got a job in Japan just before we started. And I brought in somebody who had a real heartbreaker of an experience running a trumpet piece that someone said no to. And Briar Darling, who joined us on cello, saw this sketch and went, what if this is for cello? And they went on this wonderful journey together, reimagining it and rebuilding it. And it was premiered as part of our final concert. And that kind of flexibility and heart and community spirit is really, I think, at the heart of what I hope to give in all these all-square programs. On page 8, you can see our final concert program. And aside from our wonderful local singer-songwriter, Paul Kotheimer, everything else on that concert was a concert premiere or a world premiere. Having Paul with us meant we could do a cool new arrangement of his wonderful tune. If you don't know Big Feelings Are Hard, it is a beautiful song. So it's so wonderful to include it on there. But we had composers from in town, associated with the university, etc., as part of the concert. If you look at slide 9, examples of works, there's the piece by Lucas Marshall Smith, who lived in town for many years and has recently relocated to Rockford to be an elementary music school teacher. But he had reimagined this really intense trumpet solo as this now fabulous cello solo, and Briar just absolutely went for it. I provided the audio links in the final report link on Neighborly. It's a really fantastic performance. Similarly, Ethan Prado, who up until just about when the program started was living in town as a undergrad student. He worked on this new piece for trombone that Peter premiered. And like I said earlier, if you look on slide 11, you'll see Paul Kotheimer performing with the two performing teaching artists on that beautiful, beautiful song. If you look at page 12, this is sort of what I was saying earlier, but part of what I think makes All-Score so special and valuable, in addition to being free thanks to you, is that it is a flexible creative environment. It is not just a composition class. It is a place where people can bring, ideas that have been, broken, bruised, ignored, laughed at, and they can feel safe to maybe give it another shot. And it was really beautiful to see people bring in new pieces, try out old pieces, and try to find new ways to do things. It's also a space for people with different modes of creativity. Dave O'Malley, for instance, does not write with traditional notation and is not comfortable with that. So instead, we celebrated that with Peter Tiurina's amazing background in improvisation. And Peter and he worked together hand in hand on that piece. In the same way, there were lots of small asides about different kinds of technical and aesthetic issues that both new and continuing creators might have, and that was really wonderful to get to participate in that. And looking at page 13 of the slides, we learned a lot of lessons this time. And one of the hard things was rebuilding the team to go live after being remote and people kind of moving out for that. We also had to make sure that people were taking the opportunity seriously. And with Briar and Peter, they more than showed up. They were both just absolutely wonderful collaborators, and I'm so glad to see all the joy that they brought to it. Peter is interested in continuing, and while Briar has now relocated to Chicago, she's interested in participating in remote versions going forward. As a sort of a wrap up to talk about next steps, we're imagining our next program. We're going to be applying to the upcoming grants application in February. Rose Bowl Tavern has already said that they'd like to participate again, and they've written a draft of a letter of support already. We're still working out details, but we're looking to offer a more robust in-person opportunity while keeping the remote opportunities, because it just seems like people have wanted that from us. And there's one lesson we've learned from the start of this program is we have to listen to people who want to work with us and not just tell them what they want. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I look forward to any questions or comments you have. You can follow us on Facebook at Allscore Urbana. You can email us at allscoreurbana@gmail.com. And I hope I didn't talk too fast. And thank you so much. Hello?
I'm sorry,
Oh,
forgot to turn off. Thank you, Ralph. I'm sorry
Oh,
that
it's okay.
I forgot to turn my mic back on while I was listening to your presentation.
Oh,
We're-
absolutely. Okay, just wanted to make sure you guys didn't run away.
No, I got all that. Thank you. And I could relate to that because I've worked with young composers for many years and to coach them and premiere some of their works. And so it's wonderful that that opportunity is available in our community. So the next presenter are they in person or on the phone? Ru Wang from Across the Ocean at Urbana, the 2022 grant recipient.
Yes.
Hi, welcome. Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Also, I'm so sorry, just to make sure, is it okay if I go or?
Yes, you're fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Ru, you
Can you hear me?
You may present. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me today to present, and thank you, Urbana Arts and Culture Program, to sponsor our project. My name is Ru Huang. I am the fourth-year DMA in voice from University of Illinois. I am a singer, I'm a voice teacher, and I am a Chinese instrumentalist. I play two-string fiddle called erhu. Today, I will be reporting the Across the Ocean at Urbana 2022 program, and you can turn the page. I like to reporting today in 5 parts: the introduction, planning, deliverables, budget, and post-project evaluation. Across the Ocean at Urbana connects local musicians interculturally, presents different music styles, and promotes a diverse music scene through music collaboration crossing the borders. So our project delivered one live experimental cross-cultural collaboration immersive concert, combined with its digital production, and also 2 music videos promotes to market the concert. We can turn to the next page. Next is our project participants. So our project participants include 4 parts: Across the Ocean project-based ensemble musicians. Across the Ocean Ensemble is a project-based ensemble founded in September 2021 with local resident musicians from University of Illinois, and it's comprised of 6 people, flutist, pianist, conductor, arranger, and 2 Chinese instrumentalists, Guzheng and erhu. And Professor Casey Roberts from School of Music at University of Illinois served as our music advisor and also conductor. And thank you to Professor Roberts' help. We also invited many wonderful, excellent guest musicians and collaboration technicians, Jonah Weisskopf and Iman Tang from Krana Center of Performing Arts and Collaboration Artists into our project. And due to the time constraint, I will not be reading all of the names here, but every one of them together makes this project happen. And I'm really grateful. And you can turn to the next page. Next is the project planning process. So here I will mainly talk about the concert project planning because it's one of the biggest projects here. And I will talk about two categories here, which is the scope and the resource. And the scope I defined for this project is cross-cultural, experimental, and immersive. Different from just playing the folk music on Chinese instruments. We have several pieces that all of us play together, different styles of music ranging from jazz to pop, and it generates a different sound. It was really cool and interesting, experimental, but also a new sound. The music was arranged by our arrangers. The resources, thanks to Spurlock Museum in Illinois, they provide us the venue for free, so we are able to bring the project alive in the Spurlock Museum auditorium. And you can turn to the next page. So next, I show 4 digital media posters here. The first is the concept poster, invitation poster, program, and Facebook event marketing. The theme is called Undefined Immersive Concert, and the date was on December 3rd, 2022 at 3 p.m. The audience we're targeting is Urbana community and university students. Because December was kind of like a Christmas month, so we included some Christmas songs, duets, and also a little choir into our programming, but most of them are jazz classics, a little musical theater, and some pop pieces. You can turn to the next page. Next is our project deliverables. So our project deliverables can include 1 live concert and 2 music short videos, and you can see all of the pictures here. And on the bottom left page, that instrument is called guzheng. It's a Chinese instrument. You will hear it a little bit played by our wonderful musician Sabrina later in the clips I will show you. And you can see the venue was surrounded by the projection that is designed by our projection lead, Jonah Weisskopf, and also the lights from the floor. It creates a very beautiful, intimate atmosphere in Spurlock Museum, along with the music together. And you can turn to the next page, and the next page contains a video that I played. Hope you enjoyed the performance. There was several clips I edited together, and you can turn to the next page. Next page are some numbers for our project deliverables. So for the audience numbers, we got 140 people, around 60 to 75% of the auditorium capacity. So the maximum capacity in Spurlock Museum is around 215. And for the curated videos that we posted online, we got 3,000 social media views on Facebook. And for the event we created online for this concert, we got 1,212 views, and we got 46 responses. So I guess other audiences may be coming from Spurlock marketing, their website page, or word of mouth, or just friends and a friends invitation. On the left bottom page, that is a ratio of our programming. Most of the programming is jazz, and then is musical theater, then is pop and improvisation. So I also calculated a little bit of people's reaction here. So we got applause rate mostly 100% and cheer rate for 57%. That means 57% of the time people will cheer for our program. So that was really cool. And the next page is our budgeting. And the top budgeting expenses that we have is the musicians fee. So it's around $1,090. And then the whole tier 1 grant was granted $1,500. And you can turn to the next page, which is the last page, is the post-evaluation. I think for this project, we accomplished a lot for this concert. The attendance rate was great. It was experimental, but also pushed the boundary. The live performance is really cool, and it's experimental. It brought a diverse music scene to Urbana community. It served as an inspiration for other music artists, and it also encouraged me to think more creatively and out of the box. It was really fun, and I enjoy collaborating with the musicians in our project, and improved my communication skills, and it taught me to quickly adapt to changes. Of course, we had a lot of challenges. I think the biggest challenge we met is the first one is the gap between idea and reality. So when I have an idea, it will become the reality when I actually put in the work to make the project happen instead of planning for several months, because the schedule of planning actually took several months, but the actual rehearsal only took around 1 month. And the next one is the relationship building. I think for the project like this, the performance like experimental, and no one will know what is the final sound. So we're kind of nervous and scared that the performance level will not go as well as we want. So I think that was one of the things that we stressed too much. So we maybe ignore some of the time to build the relationship through the performance and also to the community. So I believe we will definitely do better in the future. And last is the acknowledgement. And thank you so much to Urbana Arts and Culture Program and City of Urbana, Spurlock Museum at Illinois, and all of the project participants. Without your help, the project would not have happened. And I'm really, really grateful. And thank you for your time. My email is on the last page, ruhuangrh@gmail.com. If you have any questions or if you need anything, feel free to write me an email. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. You had quite a collaboration of very talented artists. I know many of the people. I saw them from the list of names and from your photographs. So I congratulate you for gathering together that wonderful group of talent. Any questions from the committee? Thank you so much. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors. We'll be moving on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll be moving on to the
Thank
next
you.
presenter now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for now. Our next presenter will be Tom Bassett from the CU Folk and Roots Festival for the 2023 grant.
I present here? Is this, or do you want me to come up? Oh, cool.
Rob, are you coming up too? Sure, help yourself. And also, his colleague, Rob Sweedler, is here today presenting. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Tom Bassett, and I'm a member of the steering committee of the Champaign-Urbana Folk and Roots Festival, and Rob Sweedler, who just handed out some of our materials, chairs that committee. We are essentially, this is a volunteer-run organization with one exception. We have a director who is paid, I would think, I would say a nominal fee for his services. So the 2023 festival was our 15th annual festival. And we consider this event as one of the great sort of arts and cultural events in Champaign-Urbana. It took place this year through Thursday and Saturday, October 12th through 14th. This is our Save the Date card, which we hand out at the farmers market, which we table at during the summer and to advertise it, as well as at other events, Park District events. We have Folk and Roots Fridays at Crystal Lake Park. Just to give you an overview of this festival, it included this year 72 events, one half of which were free. And these events vary from performances, as we think about festivals, music festivals, artists performing before audiences, but also workshops, dances, storytelling, family-friendly activities that took place at the Urbana Free Library or the Center for the Arts. We have jam sessions, Cajun, old time, blues, a range of them, dance lessons. All of it takes place in Urbana. We have a very diverse lineup in the festival, and you can see here the musical genres that are included. Blues, jazz, gospel. So, I mean, there it is. It's diverse, and it's wonderful, and it draws in a diverse crowd. And that's our objective, right? This is an Urbana-centered folk and roots festival, and in a diverse community, so we bring in a diverse group of musicians to make that happen. And we had, in this year, about 40 musicians, from national, Grammy award-winning Dom Flemons, an old-time musician, made his third appearance here at the festival, and regional musicians from Missouri, from Chicago, Indiana, Kentucky, and half of the artists are local. And so it's a wonderful, diverse group, which is very talented. We had an attendance of 2,500, more than 2,500 people. We take tallies at each venue, how many people are there, but we had the number was 5,000, but of course, people attend different events, excluding me. I went to like 2 different jam sessions and a workshop, and but if we have a methodology of tabulating at 8 o'clock Friday night, and the diverse venues, how many people are there. Ditto Saturday night. Saturday day is a little more challenging, but the number is up from the previous year. It was 22,000 last year, and I coordinated my counting with Rob Crum, who was probably presented to you last year. Here's just a few images of some of the artists. Dom Flemons playing flute and banjo, a really talented musician. Son Manacas, Mexican folk tradition band from Chicago, playing at the IMC. Dom was playing at the Rose Bowl. And T.D. Young from Lexington, Kentucky, playing here at the Gallery bar next door. And just to give you a sense of the musicians and the venues in town. We also have, as part of our festival, we have these outreach activities. In this case, we have Eddie Barbash and plus Casa. These are jazz musicians that are reaching out and meeting with community members, particularly in the schools. And so we have our number of 2,500, attendees. We're including the 380 students at Lee Elementary School who attended Eddie's Barbash's performance. And also we had 52 fifth graders at King Elementary School participating. And then we had Eddie Barbash held 2 clinics at Urbana High School in which there were 136 musicians participating. So you can see on the left here, Eddie Barbash interacting with some Urbana High School students, musicians, and then a young dancer at one of the Urbana Free Library family-friendly events. And then on the right, a guitar workshop led by Howard Raines and Tricia Spencer. So the Urbana Arts Grant was greatly appreciated. It's essential to our operations. And I just broke down here, how some of the money was being used. So some of it is used to pay artists. Some of it is to pay some of our technical support team that does a lot of stage preparations and sound, and our promotion and printing services, renting spaces, graphic designs, and you see some of the printing that we have, the poster, the program, the save the date card, and our T-shirt that I'm proudly wearing here, and the pictures. And then the festival is also dependent upon not only the Urbana Arts and Culture Programs Grant, which is at the top of the list here, along with the Sousa Archives at the University. So there are 2 main sponsors. We also benefited from Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity this year. We obtained a Back to Business grant because if we lost revenue from our previous 2 years, because of COVID, we had to have limited in-person concerts, and we didn't sell tickets. So we got some support from them that helps our budget. But I also just want to emphasize here the large number of community sponsors. There are, on the list which you can't see because of the print, 92 sponsors. 81 are financial. These are individuals who are providing $25, $50, $100, $200, $500. We also have businesses, in-kind sponsors, who are providing services. So 92 of those. And we also depend upon volunteers. As I mentioned, that the steering committee is volunteer. Also, to run the festival, we depend upon a large number, of 65 in particular, volunteers. So the combination of in-kind contributions, whether it's services or labor or cash, the festival is a community-wide effort that we thank you for your support, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. This is Allie Jean, who's one of the kid-friendly musicians and also here teaching a intro banjo workshop.
Thank you so much to you and all the folks behind the Folk and Roots Festival. It's really always one of my favorite weekends when everything is happening.
Oh, good.
And 72 different events within like a weekend span is just amazing. And, you said it was all happening in Urbana, so it's a really great way to kind of bring in different artists nationwide, but also highlight all these different local artists. And I love the local people featured in your
So yeah,
poster
the
too.
poster is designed by J.P. Guggen, and the people shown on it are people who performed in the past. So it's 15 years. It's celebrating the 15th anniversary. So enjoy the poster. Thank you.
I just want to comment, because I've watched this program develop. I was in this building when they made the presentation for the very first time for support. We were upstairs, and it's just amazing to see, and heartwarming to see how you've grown and developed and brought so much activity to you're movers and shakers in downtown Urbana.
Right.
So we appreciate all the efforts you and your
Thank you for your
colleagues
support,
have.
and we hope we can count out in the future.
Yeah, it's great seeing all your growth and development. It's wonderful.
Great. Thank you.
our next half of the Urbana Arts Grant 2023. Welcome. I'm ready for dinner now.
All right. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Liz Sands. I'm the Assistant Marketing Manager at Common Ground Food Co-op. Excuse me. So I'll just give a little bit of background about our cooking class series. Is this on? I can't tell. Okay. So the cooking classes are things that we've already done. So we were very excited to have the opportunity to incorporate this grant into our existing program. So we've been doing cooking classes in our Flatlander classroom at the co-op since 2012, when our building got an expansion, and as part of the funds for that, it was to incorporate an educational aspect into the building. So part of our mission as the co-op is to serve as an educational resource on food issues, and our classes allow us to do that. So when COVID hit, we had to take a break from that for about a year. I think we didn't do any classes, and we then began to do virtual cooking classes. So what we do is people sign up online, we package all of the ingredients into kits, and then they're picked up by the participants. They cook along at home via Zoom. And they went really, really well, and even though we have started doing in-person classes again, we kept on with the virtual classes. Our space, I don't know if anyone's been to our classroom before, but it's pretty small. We can only get about 10 people, 10 to 12 in there comfortably, whereas our virtual classes, the only limit is labor, essentially. As long as we have the time to package the ingredients, we can reach 40, 50 people for these classes, which is what we did for this one with Sarisha Bondaru. So we were very excited to I believe we were the only culinary arts grant this year. It's sort of an interesting concept, but we do these classes all the time, and we really do believe that culinary is an art form that is worth exploring. So we found a wonderful quote here that culinary arts covers a wide spectrum of disciplines. These include food science and nutrition, the quality of the ingredients, seasonality, flavors and textures, styling and color on the plate, and more. These are all things we already try and incorporate, particularly the quality of the ingredients, seasonality. We try as much as possible to feature our local producers and farmers when we do these cooking classes. So we reached out to Sarisha Bondaru, who's one of our longest standing co-op instructors. She grew up in India and has lived all over in different regions and is very, very knowledgeable about not only Indian cuisine, but local food here in Champaign, Illinois, and works hard to put those things together. So we worked with her to create a menu featuring Indian thali, and you can kind of see here on that plate, a thali is just a platter of food that has many components that when they come together form just sort of a multi-course, harmony of food on the plate that has different nutritional components, different textures, flavors. So there's some sweet, some spicy, some tangy, crunchy, smooth, all different elements of the culinary arts all together on one plate. So we worked with her to develop this menu, and we got most of the participants through through the co-op's channels. It sold out immediately within an hour. I believe we had all 40. I think we said 40, but we let a few people register at the end. So I think we ended up with about 43 participants, all in the Champaign-Urbana area. And you can kind of see, there's not a lot of visual here because it was an in-person, we do record it, but it wasn't sort of a visual art form. But yeah, so all of the attendees tuned in and created their own version of this wonderful meal with Sarisha Bondaru. Another element of this that is pretty great is that everything is available on our website. So all of the participants that picked up their kits and cooked along at home were provided with these recipe cards so they could cook again in the future. And we have these recipe cards as well as the video up on our website. So anyone that wasn't able to attend the class can still tune in, get all of the ingredients, plan everything out, and watch the video with Sarisha Bondaru. Some statistics for this, we had 41 households that registered. It's a little hard to gauge exact participants from that, but we did ask and try to get a good number. We believe it was around 104 participants that tuned in for this. Of those 41 households that registered, 30 of them were new participants, so people that have never taken classes with us before, which was really wonderful. We have a large pool of people that attend our classes, but there's a lot of overlap, so it was great to see new people come out and experience this for the first time and be able to take this class for free. All of the Urbana grant funds went towards the ingredients and the class instructor. So 200 was paid to Sarisha to teach, to plan and teach the class, and the remaining roughly 1,300 went to the ingredients. We did provide in-kind donations of our labor and things like packaging materials and things like that. And just some feedback from our participants. The class went really well. So it can be a little strange to kind of tune in via Zoom, but it still does kind of have a wonderful sense of community. You can see everybody cooking along. People will hold up their meals up to the camera, and ideally will be done at the same time and all be able to eat together. So these are just some people that shared their meals at the end of it, and it seemed to go really, really well. You can see here, those plates look very similar to what Sarisha's looked like. A really beautiful balance of colors and textures on the plate. And it was just really wonderful to be able to work with Sarisha, who we love and always presents the best classes, but really give it this sort of artistic spin, the culinary arts spin. And she did such an amazing job. We told her we want it to be colorful and bright and varied, and she knew exactly what to do. So we're really hoping moving forward to apply again, probably with Sarisha as well, maybe a different concept, but she was just a wonderful person to work with, and her classes always sell out immediately. She's everyone's favorites. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to do this. It's hard for us to provide free classes to our participants, and we know that can be limiting to some people that wouldn't otherwise be able to take them. So it was a great opportunity.
Like it was a great success.
Yes, it really was. Thanks.
What was the cost for registration?
So these were just free, so the participants paid nothing, but with it was about $40 per kit, which is typically what we charge. It sort of depends on what the class is, but that's what we allotted.
Thank
But
you.
it was free for everyone that registered.
I just want to say, as a participant of that class, I had the best time, and it was my first time doing a cooking class with a co-op, and it being on Zoom, you know, you're familiar with your kitchen, and you're just able to kind of use things that maybe you wouldn't always use in your own kitchen in terms of tools. But it totally inspired me to take more classes, so I am signed up for the Indian afternoon tea party class that's coming up, and I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. I'm so happy. Yeah, I think that the virtual component, you know, we did it because we had to, but it really has worked out. And I think versus, you know, kind of a demonstration cooking class where you're watching somebody do it, you are in your own kitchen doing it yourself. And I think that gives people the confidence to do it again. They're really learning in their own space. So I'm glad you had a good time. And yeah, her classes are the best. We're getting ready for that one next week. So great.
Well, it looks like, there's one comment here. It says, I loved working with Sarah. Is that you?
Kind of behind the scenes.
I mean, I know you work there, but I didn't.
Yeah. So I also help. Sorry, I also help behind the scenes with the videoing and help at packing and things like that. So
Kudos to you, too.
thanks.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
It looks
Have a good night, everyone.
very intriguing.
Just one question. You said, was this your first time doing this program with the Arts and Culture Grant?
No. So
Okay.
we got the murals in front of our store were part of the Arts and I believe that was a 2020 Arts and Culture Grant that actually Sarah got before she was on the commission, I believe. So, so the first me personally, but the second that the co-op has received.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I like the take on the culinary arts aspect, and I hope you apply again, and hopefully other businesses in town apply for something similar. So not to increase competition or whatever, but I just think this is a really great take on the Arts and Culture Grant. So thank you for all the hard work.
Well,
Yeah,
if
we sort of went out on a limb, but we were like, I think that we can make this work. I think that it is an art. It's just not one that was listed in, there's all the different categories. And I said, let's do it anyway. And it went really well. So
Well done. Thank you.
thank you.
built a nice sense of community, too.
Yeah, they go really well. It's wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Right. Now, our next presenter is Amanda Ramey from the Tongero Workshop Grant Recipient 2023. I was looking for it, and I looked up and she was gone. That's why I hesitated for a moment.
my flash drive. Okay, this should be okay. Can you hear me?
The button down there.
Hello? Is it working? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Right.
Use your big house voice.
All right. Sorry. I don't usually use PowerPoint. Apologies. Yeah. Sorry. All right, great. So my name is Amanda Ramey, and I am one of the organizers of the Tangero Workshop for Musicians, which is presented by Tangero Inc., which is a nonprofit out of Indiana that was started in the around 2010 to help bring Argentine tango music to the United States. Specifically, the Tangero Workshop for Musicians is the main musician training portion of Tangera Inc. And the workshop was started in 2014 with the goal of bringing of training musicians specifically in North America in the Argentine tango tradition, which was at the time not very present in the United States. So the workshop started in Bloomington, Indiana, and then spent a couple years at St. Mary's College in South Bend, moved to Toronto for a year. The pandemic happened, and then it has been in Urbana for the past 2 years. So with the generous sponsorship of the Urbana Arts Grant, that's definitely helped it being here. So our faculty instructors that we have in the workshop come from Buenos Aires and are all trained. They're tango masters as artists. This year's faculty included returning faculty members Julian Peralta, Hugo Sattore, Christine Brebs, and junior faculty Laura Camacho, our orchestra leader, bandoneon player, violin instructor, and double bass instructor. Especially Julian Peralta is one of the most prolific names in Argentine tango music today. We're actually incredibly fortunate to have him here for the workshop. He has been one of the forerunners of those who have been restarting the study and performance of Argentine tango after it declined majorly. He was one of the people who really helped bring it back and now it's thriving again in Buenos Aires. Our participants are obviously the main focus for the workshop itself. And our participants, this year we had 37 participants. 10 of those participants are actually local to Urbana. Most of them are involved in our local Argentine tango ensemble, Bandoneon Massacre. But we actually were able to attract a couple of brand new band members and someone who I had never met who wanted to come to the workshop, which was great. We also had another 5 people, I think from the Chicago area, so Illinois residents, and then several other people from the Midwest, and 2 international participants. For our local audience members, we ended up having, we had 8 events throughout the week and had over 250 local people come to those different events, which was really, really exciting to see. People in those events participated as audience members, but also as musicians and as tango dancers. And our tango dancers came from our local community and also from the Midwest region to come to we had a final Malaga, which I'll go over later. As far as our budget includes $4,000 for artist fees and also $7,000 for travel fees and housing fees for those artists. And then our venue costs are $2,000. So obviously the Urbana Arts Grant, we use it for the housing and travel and venue costs, but having that $5,000 makes a really big difference in our budgeting. We do charge our participants for their participation, but all of our public events were free except for our final Malaga. So I'll just go over a little bit of what our participants were doing and then our public events.
So the participants are training to learn how to play Argentine tango music and also do some cultural immersion as far as with our instructors, like learning about tango culture and getting to engage with them socially. As musicians, they're involved in small and large groups, so doing lots of training in rehearsing. And they do that in small and large groups with our artist instructors. And then we also had a couple of different electives. We had an arranging elective, sort of a composition or arranging elective, where we're training the next generation of American tango musician composers and arrangers, and also a parilla class, which is a form of jamming. So we had that going on. As far as our events went, we had a dinner for our participants at Golden Harbor, they're sponsoring local businesses. We also had a public showing of a film that actually our lead instructor, Julian Peralta, was a major feature in, involving the rebirth of tango in the early 2000s. We were able to show the film at the IMC and then had a great discussion led by Jason Finkelman and also local tango expert and dancer Joe Growens with Julian, which was great. We had our faculty and guest concert at the Rose Bowl on Tuesday night, which featured our faculty performers, as well as our local tango band and other guests. And we had about 50 people at that performance. On Wednesday night, we hosted an electro tango night. Several of our local musicians, Rudolf Haken, Andreas Ruiz-Gert, and some other people who are doing electric music in town were able to join us for this this tango music that is a little bit less common, but also growing in Buenos Aires, so another dimension added to our artistic offerings. Then we had our public tango jam at the Rose Bowl on Thursday night, which involved many of our tango participants of the workshop, but also several local community members who got to come out, as well as, of course, our audience that attended. Our participants were featured in a concert on Friday night, also at the IMC, and in attendance were 50 people, and it was a great event for audience members and for our participants. Great to have that performance opportunity. We were also able to perform at the Market at the Square on Saturday morning, where we were able to do some more jamming and present our music to the public who were unaware that they would be experiencing tango on a Saturday morning. We also did a short bandoneon presentation about the history of the bandoneon and let some people try playing it, which was great fun. And then our final event was a milonga tango dance, where, as I said before, regional dancers came from, within 4 or 5 hours of here, as well as our local dancers, to have a nice social event. It was a lot of fun and really great community building. The main people who were also our sponsors and our venues, as you saw, we got a nice letter from the IMC and from the Rose Bowl in helping us to get the grant. And C4A was our wonderful host for all of our classes, dealing with us all week long as we fill the whole building. As far as the community impact of what we're doing, as I said, it's so great to be able to have this grant to help us to do this event. It's so great to have all the people from all around the country, but especially our local musicians, being able to learn how to do this music. And it's also great to be able to present this music and culture to the audience members that we have here too. So thank you to the Urbana Arts Grant for helping make that possible. So, thanks.
Worked very hard to make that happen.
Very. And I will say all the organization for this, it's all volunteer led. The planning team is fairly small. We work really, really hard to do this, and it's volunteer. So
Through community effort.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to shut down for COVID this year.
No, we did. We got to do our stuff at the end of the week. So,
Any comments?
questions?
Yeah, great job. I love that there's so many different days and different types of workshops merging together for performance at the end and a dance. That's really great.
Thanks. Good. Great. Thank you.
So much, Amanda.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh, I don't know how to work PCs. Okay.
Also get that, hit the word exit down at the bottom of that white screen so we don't have that interfering with their presentations. See it on the right side of the screen? So much. Next, our presenter is Urbana's first poet laureate, Will Rager, and he's representing the Central Illinois River Art and Poetry Project, the Arts Grant 2022. Welcome, Will. Good to see you. Front right side there.
Out of the Okay, thank you. Well, thank you to all of you for supporting the arts, especially my little corner. My name is Will Rieger, as you know, and I am by profession a historian and also a poet by avocation, I guess. And this project is something that I've been thinking about for years. I call it the Central Illinois Rivers Arts and Poetry Project, but that was sort of the official name. I began to call it Central Illinois Waterways Arts and Poetry Project because I realized I'm not really talking about rivers very much in this look at the waterways. I don't know if you can see these small pictures here, but I was, as a historian, traveling on I-74 sometimes 4 times a week, and always wondering what's beyond that little tiny corridor that I followed. And then I decided to go find out. And so this project is sort of the result of that desire to learn what's going on outside of my little world on the freeway. And so, as you can see, I have many pictures here of waterways of various kinds and size and nature. I have some are very thin and trickly brooks or just wet ditches. Some are full-fledged rivers, and some are major canals, if you will, or waterways that move water, a large amount of water across the land. I notice we have the city seal featuring the plow. The history of our area, which really depends so much on the agriculture, excuse me, was also dependent on water management. Now, I'm not a hydrologist or an environmental scientist. I'm a historian, just sort of a curious fellow, and I'm also a poet, and I wanted to write about some of these rivers, these waterways, and that is what motivated this project. And I feel the value of it is, of course, in knowing and understanding better the environment in which we live. Many of us are town folk. We are not connected with the land very much, very well. And so, in my experience, this was one of those great
opportunities to break out of my mold. And one of the things I learned as I went to these rivers, or watched them, looked at them, and then talked to people about them, is that this system of waterways that I witnessed is not a system of natural waterways. This is, as I put it in one poem, this is the land bleeding, because this water is being piped off or moved away from the land to support the agriculture. And so even though we have fairly thick rivers, large rivers, these rivers are also a compendium of small little waterways, or wet ditches as I sometimes call them, that move water out of these fields and off down various corridors in terms of moving water out of the region. And so this is the essential idea that I wanted to get across with this project. And the project was to offer the local poets with whom I'm familiar the opportunity to consider this same question. What is the social or environmental or poetic value of these waterways? And I noticed in communicating with these folks that this was not an idea that easily transferred from my head to their heads. And so one of the poets, Cielo Jones, said actually what she did was just go through her poetry file and seek every reference to the word river, which is not exactly what I wanted, but I wanted them to look in some way close to the way I looked at these rivers, and I find that there is some evidence of that. But here are some of the people that were involved. These are some shots from the audience. We had approximately 70 people attend this particular reading, and many of them, of course, were poets themselves. In these pictures here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 local poets evident in the pictures. Because I'm not good at PowerPoint, I didn't add any sort of caption to them, but they're there. Of course, they're part of the audience, but there's also a great deal who are not part of the audience, which I didn't really show very much here, but on the top, what would that be? The top right corner, that's the artistic element of this project, in which 3 other artists and myself all gave efforts to produce the image of the waterway in some form or another. And there is some pictures along the way that sort of demonstrate that. But here on the left, you see Michael Ledoux looking at some paintings of mine, actually, that reflect the waterways and to some degree the natural environment. But that bluish photo that he's looking at in the middle, that's actually the salt, the drainage ditch up in northern Urbana. I forget the name, salt drainage or something salt. But anyway, these are the some of the people who participated in the poetic side of the project. And as you can see, we had a fairly mixed group of various societal groups. This small picture down here at the middle is the former youth poet laureate that we have here that was still in office at the time. But we also have here, as well as her, we have Danielle Chenoweth, who's prominent in government. We have Elizabeth Majerus, who is educator. Vern Fine and his brother, that's Vern, and then his brother is the Victor, sorry. And then, of course, we have, this is the current poet laureate, And the one previous to her was our MC. This is Ashanti Files and Janelle Davenport Pleasure. And so, and this, of course, is Elaine Palencia. These are all, I could call them heavy hitters in terms of the poetry contribution to our community.
Well,
And so, yes.
notice on the last screen also, there were two members. Danielle Chenoweth is one of the co-founders of this commission.
Right.
And Frank Monaco used to be a member of this commission also.
That's true. That is true. So the message that I would offer here is that maybe this is in part a corrective, or maybe it's a notes for future, but my vision for this project is to go far beyond what we accomplish here. And there's a lot to do, of course. We could be very much more environmentally participatory. The waterways are organized under various kinds of, I don't know, bodies or entities that they're like districts, water districts, or they're districts associated by name with a particular body of water. Like, for example, the Big Ditch, which flows across Mattis, about 9 miles or so north of town. But the Big Ditch is a business, and many of these little waterways are businesses. This is what I discovered. They are used by local farmers, pay into it to keep the water off their fields. There is, I don't know if I can find this picture, but you probably have seen it. If this one got into it, but if you are driving past one of these waterways, eventually you'll come across a little pipe that's buried about 4 or 5 feet deep. That is a runoff pipe. All the water that flows into that field through the rain or the snow is directed into these pipes, and then those pipes pour into another larger avenue. And farmers pay into this to manage it and to maintain it. And so a lot of times you'll be driving down the road and you'll see a backhoe or something dredging out one of these ditches. It's a very prominent effort. And of course, there are a lot of implications for the management in terms of how the land is maintained and supported, because there's certainly things like erosion and so forth that impact these waterways. Now, in terms of the budget, I didn't think to bring the invoice, but the largest part of the received from the grant and then spent supporting the artists. Poets didn't get anything. They came out of love, not for money, but the artists had to receive some sort of support in terms of art supplies, but also in terms of making the art visible as a piece that can be hung on the wall. Say for these pictures here, these were framed and printed by professional companies, and so that was a major piece of the expenditure. And of course, we asked permission to sell our work, and I don't know how much the other artists sold, but I sold a couple of pictures, and I did donate this one here with the salt drainage district that went to Rachel Storm, and she had it hanging in her office over at the museum for a little while. I think she took it home. This one was sold for a fellow's girlfriend, and there were other sales as well, and so forth. So the artwork and the imagery of this landform or water form was definitely spread throughout the community. Are some of the pictures, unfortunately, I chose poorly. Oh. No, don't be sorry. your. Any questions at the end?
Did you have expenses to use the Channing Murray Foundation?
Yes, they charged me $86 total to use the hallway, which I thought was very, a good price. I've used their facility for 2 different grants, and the last one was slightly smaller, focused on the Red Herring Poets Society. That went pretty well, although I do think that they could use a few easels over there. I don't know that I like that flat on the table kind of display, but whatever. It is what it is. But thank you very much for supporting this. I hope that in the future I can continue this particular work, expand the idea, and push it a little bit further. So thank you.
A lot of awareness to our community, things that we take for granted every single day.
Yes. Thank you.
We are at the end of our grant presentations, and moving on to the staff report now.
Hello. I'm going to make this a little bit of a brief staff report. Basically, I wanted to let you all know that Sarah and I have been working diligently on getting the Poet Laureate application up and running for the 2024 cycle. So that's currently open, and it will be open through to January 21st is when it's due at midnight. There's lots of posts about it. People are really sharing, so it's getting a lot of good visibility. So if you see in your packet, there's a flyer that's attached for both the Poet Laureate and the Arts Grants. I thought maybe I'd task you with a little bit of homework and post it somewhere where someone will see it. So that's the... What?
The entire your entire network.
Yep. And yeah, share it with your entire network. So that's the Poet Laureate application. And the next main thing I wanted to discuss was the Urbana Arts Grants for 2024. The applications are going to be open February 1st through March 1st. And all information can be found on our website. But one of the things I wanted to just let you all know today is that this Friday I'll be at Cafe Paradiso having one-on-ones with people about their grants and if they have ideas they want to brainstorm. So there's a Sign Up Genius that's attached to our social media posts about this brainstorm session. So folks can sign up. I think there's about 4 spots left for this Friday. So it's just half an hour. People can meet, ask questions, see if maybe their idea is eligible, and they can kind of start to prepare for the application being open.
Do we still have that page on our city website about the grant applications that used to be there?
Yes.
So if people can't come, they can go to the city website and find that information?
Yeah, lots of information. The guidelines are there. So I think that having a one-on-one is just a little bit more of a conversation in case there's something particular someone's not sure about. But yeah, lots of information to be found on the website.
Vivian, the brainstorming sessions, is that something that's been done before, or is this the first time doing it?
I think they've been done before.
Okay.
I think
For
that
several years.
Okay.
they were, just like stop by and talk for a little bit. So I think it's a good way to get people excited, and even if it's just a brief, like, I kind of want to do this, but it's a good way for people to know if that's something that is aligned with our goals also, so people can kind of learn a little bit more about that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. The Artist of the Corridor has a new exhibit now. So it was Anna Gush, and now it is the Champaign County Camera Club. And they have some photography of winter scenes, some nature scenes, and that's going to be up for the next few months. And then they will have an opening reception at some point that we'll share about. And then there are some upcoming events that we have a little bit of time to share. This Saturday is January's Postmark. And if you're familiar, I think you all are, but 40 North and the city of Urbana have partnered and are doing monthly events called Postmark on Saturdays. And this month it's Cafe & Co. So that will be this Saturday. Gallery Art Bar has a new exhibit happening. They have monthly exhibits, and currently there is a series of self-portraits by Marcus Flynn. It's titled Dreamscapes, and that will be up throughout the month of January at Gallery Art Bar. Later this month, Usual Girls will be showing at the Station Theater from January 25th through February 4th. And then I think Sarah has a little bit of information about a poetry karaoke event.
Just an update on the current poet laureate, Janelle Davenport Pleasure, is doing this was actually one of her big ideas of, she's going to be doing a poetry karaoke. It's scheduled for Wednesday, January 17th at Gallery Art Bar. It's starting at 6 p.m. And I think the concept is that different poets will exchange their poetry in advance and then perform another poet's work. So I think it will be a lot of fun, and I think there will be music, and so there's a Facebook event for it called Poetry Karaoke, so you can take a look, and I believe the Urbana Arts and Culture social media will be sharing it in the future, so you can look out for that.
Thanks, Sarah. And that's all I have for the staff report if we want to move on to new business.
Do we have any new business to report?
We need to vote on meeting times.
Oh, okay.
If that is something that we want to do, to keep our time at the second Tuesday of the month for 4:30. So we can vote on that.
Need some discussion first?
I'm available that every second Tuesday, so.
I'm still available. I've made my schedule that way since we started the commission, but I
Yeah.
can be flexible if it's necessary. I just need to know because I've already set up people for my studio this semester.
I think maybe we should go ahead with the schedule. Are there any current, how many more commissioners are we looking to fill? Is it one more spot? for the
There's two
commissioner?
more spots.
spots.
And then we have Mark Anthony and
Yes.
Alicia, who are out of town right now.
Great. Motion to approve the schedule, the current schedule, current date and time.
I'll second that. All in favor? Say aye.
Say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Actions?
Yeah, and I thought that maybe just before we have to head out, if the new commissioners wanted to introduce themselves, maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Abby Harris. I've lived in Urbana since, I think, 2010. I have 3 kids. I teach in Champaign Public Schools, specifically at International Prep Academy, and I'm also the district music coordinator. I also work with a local nonprofit in the community, and I just like to keep busy.
My name is Xander Hazel. I'm currently the social media person for the Prairie Research Institute, but I previously worked in the nonprofit sector. I ran the Champaign Center Partnership. We did the Parade of Lights and Street Fest and a lot of public events, which is why I'm interested in, or why I'm on the commission, but of course to support artists and make sure that we have a vibrant Urbana community. So, thank you.
It's wonderful to have you both with us. Thank you so much. Any other items to discuss? Have a call to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you so much. Have a good evening.